is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. We're just getting the crime stats for 2023. Overall crime down, but rapes up 11%. And as we know, murders up 10% so far this year. Plus, police investigating the country's two latest murders. And Peter Turnquist says he feels vindicated. We'll tell you why. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
It's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Tuesday, April 16th, 2024. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Laverne Gardner will be here filling in for DeQuesta Dean. Also this morning, we are going to learn about Participate Learning. It's a special program that's going to allow Bahamian teachers to obtain a master's degree while getting experience in the U.S. teaching. We'll find out more about that and what you need to know if you're interested in this. And then later in business, it's part two of our Harborside chats with the governor. We'll pick up on that conversation that Governor John Roll was having with three former central bank governors. And also in Morning Blend Business, we're going to get details about this year's Build a Bridge Challenge. So a lot to get to this morning. But let's begin with the overnight, the latest breaking news from while you were sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, while overall crime was down 21% in 2023 compared to 2022, rapes were up 11%. Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernander confirming this yesterday during a press conference at police headquarters, noting that 56% of reported rape victims knew their alleged attackers. All categories of crime were down in 2023 except rape. The statistics showing that crimes against the person were down 26% as well. Murder for 2023 was actually down 14% from 128 in 2022 to 110 in 2023. Attempted murder was down 26% from 47 to 35. Manslaughter was down 25% from 4 to 3. Armed robbery was down 34% from 555 to 368. Robbery was down 44% from 124 to 70. And attempted robbery was down 30% from 10 to 7. Now, there were 61 rapes reported in 2023 compared to 55 reported in 2022. Fernando urged women to be careful when they move about New Providence. He said, quote, when you walk, make sure that there is a well-lit area. Make sure run with other people. Those who live alone, pay attention to your surroundings. Ensure that your homes are well lit and you have security screens, locks on your doors, and a CCTV. Don't catch rides with strangers, please. That's why you have bus transportation or family members you can reach out to. Be careful with who you are catching rides with. Well, with murders, of course, this year's a different story. Murders increased by 10% so far this year compared to the same period last year, according to these police statistics. Commissioner Fernando releasing the figures again yesterday. He reported that crime against a person is down, as we said, but murders and illegal firearms continue to be a concern for police. So far this year, 42 people have been murdered compared to 38 for the corresponding period in 2023. Armed robberies fell by 43% so far this year, though, compared to this time last year. The commissioner also saying that the public will soon know how the police will proceed with regards to a claim by two American women that they were raped on a beach in Grand Bahama in February. Last month, Fernandez said the matter was in the hands of the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. Asked yesterday if the file was sent back to him from the DPP, he confirmed that he was in possession of the file and that he will be communicating with the public soon. Asked if this means that charges will be filed in the matter, he said, quote, there are some recommendations and the public will know exactly what the recommendations are shortly. You'll recall those American women alleged that the incident happened on a beach in Freeport on February 4th. One of the women took to social media and expressed disappointment with the way she claimed police handled the matter. Police are investigating the country's latest murders. 2 men murdered in New Providence, bringing the murder count to 42 so far for the year. In the first incident, a 33-year-old man was shot and killed outside a night spot on West Bay Street. Police say it happened after 4 a.m. The man was in the parking lot of a business and was about to enter his vehicle when an argument occurred between the man and another unidentified individual. We're told that as the confrontation escalated, the unidentified man or person produced a gun and shot the man who attempted to run away but collapsed nearby. He was pronounced dead at the scene by emergency medical technicians. The second incident happened around 4 p.m. when a man believed to be in his late 20s was shot and killed. Police say the victim was walking along Nelson Street in Yellow Elder when a man in a small Japanese vehicle pulled alongside him and shot him multiple times with a high-powered weapon. Police say the victim was not being monitored by police, but they had to speak with him on a few occasions. That's their words. Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernandez says that police arrested 4 men over the weekend, including a Jamaican national, who were found inside a car with 2 loaded 9mm guns. Fernandez says police received intelligence on the men and proceeded to a parking lot in the downtown area and arrested the men. He called it a major arrest. He said one of the men is wanted in connection with several incidents and, quote, 1 or 2 murders. Fernandez says police brought immigration officers in to ascertain how the Jamaican got into the Bahamas. He said police will also check with Interpol and Jamaican officials to see if he was wanted. A jury has been seated to hear the murder trial of Rubens Elusme. He's accused of the January 1st, 2020 shooting death of Marco Meadows at 3rd Street in Coconut Grove. Elusme has denied the allegation at his trial before Justice Gregory Hilton and is on bail. And a Supreme Court jury acquitting Orville Forbes of murder by a majority verdict 7-2. Prosecutors allege that Forbes was the gunman who fatally shot Kevin Skiva McKenzie on September 28, 2021. The prosecution's case was based on the statement of an alleged eyewitness who was murdered in December 2021 at Wilson Tract. That witness, Kendrick McKenzie, his statement in which he identified Forbes as the killer was entered into evidence under Section 66 of the Evidence Act. According to McKenzie, he was traveling with Forbes and a man whose street name was Malcolm X in a white Nissan March. According to the statement, Forbes and Malcolm X went to speak to the deceased, who was on the porch of an apartment in the government housing complex known as the Big Yard. While there, Forbes allegedly pulled out a gun and shot Kevin McKenzie multiple times. McKenzie, the witness, said that Malcolm X and Forbes returned to the car and they went to a scrapyard on Joe Franklin Road. You can read more about the case in today's Nassau Guardian. And a Supreme Court judge found that while veteran accountant K. Peter Turnquest, who later became Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, breached his statutory fiduciary duty to Alpha Aviation Limited, the company failed to prove conspiracy to defraud on the part of Turnquest and other two defendants, Captain Randy Butler and his wife, Lorona Butler. Turnquest was the manager and director of the company. In a judgment delivered yesterday, Supreme Court Justice Carla D. Card Stubbs also ruled that Alpha Aviation Limited, beneficially owned by Frederick Kaiser, did not suffer a measurable loss as a result of Turnquest's breach of duty. As a consequence, his damages and, as pleaded, were not awarded. In a statement last night, Turnquest saying that he was pleased with the ruling. He said, quote, "I've emerged victorious against their baseless allegations of conspiracy. Despite also facing an unjust breach of fiduciary duty claim, the court's decision not to impose any financial penalties on me serves as a resounding affirmation of my defense." You can read the statement and more in today's Nassau Guardian. Overseas, a teenager has been accused of wounding a Christian bishop and a priest during a church service in a second high-profile knife attack to rock Sydney, Australia in recent days, leaving communities on edge. Leaders calling for calm and a besieged church urging against retaliation. The 16-year-old was overpowered by the shocked congregation at Christ the Good Shepherd Church after he allegedly stabbed Bishop Mar Mary Emanuel and Father Isaac Royal during a service on Monday night that was being streamed online. Police have not commented on reports that the boy's fingers were severed by parishioners in the Orthodox Assyrian Church in a suburb of Sydney, but confirmed his hand injuries were severe. Video of the attack spread quickly on social media, and an angry mob converged on the church demanding vengeance. They hurled bricks, bottles, and fence boards at the police, who temporarily barricaded the boy inside the church for his own safety. Many in the crowd chanted, quote, "An eye for an eye," and, quote, "Bring him out." Several people, including police officers, required hospital treatment following the hours-long riot. And Brazilian police are investigating the grim discovery of a boat full of corpses, likely African migrants from Mali and Mauritania. Fishermen off Brazil's northern coast found the boat adrift Saturday in the Atlantic Ocean. Brazil's federal police said that it had recovered 9 dead in total. The roughly 39-foot-long white and blue canoe-shaped boat found in Brazil shares the same characteristics of Mauritanian fishing vessels frequently used by West African migrants and refugees fleeing Spain's Canary Islands. The Atlantic route from West Africa to European Union territory is one of the most dangerous in the world. Boats that miss their destination can be swept away by Atlantic trade winds and currents from east to west, drifting for months. Migrants aboard often die from dehydration and malnutrition. Others have been known to jump into the sea out of desperation. In sports, the B3A's, the Bahamas Association of Athletic Associations, has ratified a 27-member team for the World Athletic Relays set for the Bahamas May 4th and 5th at the renovated Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium in Nassau. The host nation will contest 4 of the 5 relay events: the men and women's 4x100-meter relays, the 4x400 meters for the men's, and the mixed 4x400-meter relay. According to team leader David Charlton, they don't have the required legs to competitively contest the women's 4x400-meter relay. Named to the team for the women's 4x1, Camille Rutherford, Devin Charlton, Prostasia Johnson, Jemiah Nabi, Cyan Demerit, Nia Richards, Charisma Taylor, and Pedra Seymour. The men's 4x1 consisting of Samson Colebrook, Somali Farrington, Ian Kerr, Carlos Brown, Deidro Clark, Blake Bartlett, Jeremiah Adderley, and Warren Frazier. And for the men's 4x400 meter relay team, Stephen Gardner, Alonzo Russell, Wendell Miller, Zion Shepard, Deidro Clark, Zion Miller, Levine Joseph, and Jakeem Hall-Smith. And for the mixed 4x400 meter relay team, we've got Shauna Miliwibo, Anthony Strawn, McCarthy Cooper, Robin Roll Curry, Stephen Gardner, Alonzo Russell, Wendell Miller, and Zion Shepard. Read more about it in today's Guardian Sports section. From the WNBA draft, Caitlin Clark admitted she was a bit nervous before being chosen with the number 1 pick by the Indiana Fever, although it came as no surprise. Clark saying, quote, "I dreamed of this moment since I was in 2nd grade, and it's taken a lot of hard work, a lot of ups and downs, but more than anything, just trying to soak it in." The former Iowa star became a household name among basketball fans during her record-breaking college career, and she'll now try and help revive the Indiana franchise, along with last season's number 1 pick, Aliyah Boston, who previously played with Clark on a USA Basketball under-19 team. The Fever taking Clark has been a foregone conclusion since she announced on February 29th that she would turn pro. Nearly 17,000 tickets were claimed to watch the draft at Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, home to the Fever and the NBA's Indiana Pacers. Clark has helped bring millions of fans to women's basketball with her signature shots from the mid-court logo and passing ability. The NCAA's all-time scoring leader was a big reason why a record 18.9 million viewers tuned into the national championship game, which Iowa lost to unbeaten South Carolina. The Hawkeyes were also the national runners-up to LSU a year earlier. And from the NBA, LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers are back in the play-in tournament. So is Stephen Curry, as he and the Golden State Warriors will be fighting for their season. Jimmy Butler returns as well after this round last year was the first step on Miami's way to the NBA Finals. The postseason, not technically quite the playoffs yet, gets underway today with a pair of Western Conference championships. The Lakers visit New Orleans with the winner securing the number 7 seed, and a series with defending champion Denver in round 1. And then the Warriors go on to Sacramento, an elimination game for both teams. The Eastern Conference takes stage on Wednesday. Philadelphia will play host to Miami in a game to decide the number 7 seed there, and Atlanta will visit Chicago with the season on the line for those clubs. That's sports. And that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. Your first good weather for today. We've got an inverted trough to the east of the Bahamas. That's going to trigger light to moderate shower activity over portions of the central and southeastern Bahamas today. In the northwestern islands, stable and mostly dry conditions. Courtesy of a ridge of high pressure, there's a moderate risk of rip currents, though, along east coast beaches. Your forecast for today for the northwest and central Bahamas, partly mostly sunny, warm, and breezy, turning mostly fair and mild at night. Small craft cautions in effect for Atlantic waters. Winds northeast to east at 15 to 20 knots today, falling 10 to 15 knots by tonight. Seas 1 to 3 feet near shore and among sheltered areas, but up to 4 to 6 feet offshore and along Atlantic exposures. For the southeast Bahamas today, partly cloudy to cloudy, with a few scattered showers and possible offshore thunderstorms, becoming partly to mostly sunny, warm, and breezy by the early afternoon hours, turning mostly fair and mild at night with a chance of a stray shower. For boaters, small crash advisories in effect for Atlantic waters. Winds northeast to east at 15 to 20 knots, gusty at times, falling 10 to 15 knots by tonight. Seas 2 to 4 feet near shore and in sheltered areas, but up to 5 to 7 feet offshore and along Atlantic exposures. Currently in Nassau, it is about 72 degrees under fair skies. We're looking at highs getting up to around 82 Fahrenheit, 28 Celsius today. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 70 Fahrenheit, 21 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up in just a bit.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way.
It is time for a break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
Wake up, it's a new day.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Wherever you're headed, the Custom Computers Know-How team is standing by to help guide you in the East and the West. We now have 2 convenient locations on Patton Street in Palmdale and our newest store in the Caves Village Shopping Plaza through the Blake Road entrance. Discover the latest products by top international brands and the knowledge you need to unleash tomorrow's technology today. Drop by Custom Computers out east or out west. We're open Saturdays from 10 till 4.
Bring your family, bring your friends, bring your gal. Come witness history in the making at the 2024 World Athletic Relays Chase the Sun, Paradise to Paris, happening here in Nassau, Bahamas. Hundreds of the best runners from more than 40 countries will compete for their place in the 2024 Paris Olympics, May 4th and 5th at the Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium. Get your tickets early at worldrelaysbahamas24.org or at the Andre Rogers Baseball Stadium box office.
The signs are clear. It's time to pay less for your current mortgage by switching to Scotiabank. Enjoy lower interest rates and no payments up to 2 months when you switch to Scotiabank today. Plus, we'll even pay your switch costs. It's that easy. Ready to switch to Scotiabank? Call us today at 242-356-1697 or visit bs.scotiabank.com to switch your mortgage to become mortgage-free faster.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now on a Tuesday, filling in for Duquesa, who's going to be joining us on Thursday, Laverne Gardner. Laverne, good morning. Welcome to Tuesday.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning. It's good to be here on a Tuesday.
Hope you're doing well.
Yes, everything is well.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. We've got a lot to get to on this Tuesday morning. Coming up in our 8 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking about Participate Learning, a program. We're going to find out about it, how long it's been around. And it's going to allow for educators to complete their master's degrees while working as teachers outside their country so they can gain experience. This sounds really exciting. We're going to get some details about that. And then later in business, it's part 2 of what we premiered yesterday, Harborside Chats with the Governor. That's the central bank governor, John Roll, as he talks about the evolution of central banking, part 2 this morning. Also in business, we're going to be getting details about the Build-A-Bridge Challenge. You remember this, the Popsicle Bridge Challenge in schools, high school. Future engineers and scientists come together to build the strongest popsicle bridge. We're going to get the details about this year's competition. That's all ahead on a busy Tuesday morning. Let's begin, though, with what else is in the news. And in the news, yes, it is mid-April, but we're just getting the crime stats for 2023. What's that about? Anyway, and as usual, it seems like every year they say this, crime down, but, and the but for 2023 was that rapes were up 11%. Crime down 21%, though. But of course, when you deal with percentages, even 1 or 2 fewer or more can bump that percentage up by double digits. So 1 or 2? Anyway, we'll talk about it after you listen to this report from our Vonik Toot.
First 4 months of the year, Police Clayton Fernando told reporters on Monday that overall crime is down by 10% so far this year. During a news conference at police headquarters to provide crime statistics for 2023 and the first part of 2024, Fernando said so far this year, crime is down in every category except murder.
Unofficial overall crime is down by 10%. Crime against the person down 16%, and the property crime is down by 7% thus far for the year, unconfirmed.
41 people have been murdered in the Bahamas so far this year compared to 38 people killed during the same period last year. Fernando said though murders are up this year, this category of crime was down 14% last year. 110 people were killed last year compared to 128 murders in 2022. 65% of those murders were solved. He said many of the murder suspects were on bail when the crimes were committed.
75 suspects that were on bail committed murder. 33 victims were killed while they were on bail. 5 victims were killed while they were being electronically monitored.
Fernando said every category of crime was down last year with the exception of rape, which increased by double digits.
Rapes, there were a total of 61 rapes, 11% increase over 2022. 50% of the victims knew the assailants. They knew the assailant. When you look at the unlawful sexual intercourse, 134, as I indicated, a decrease of 4% over 2022. 75% of the victims knew their assailant.
He added serious crimes were down 21% last year. Crimes against the person were down 26%. Crimes against the property were down 19%. Armed robberies decreased last year by 34%. House breakings dropped by 27%. Stolen vehicles decreased by 22%. And attempted rape dropped by 10%. Meanwhile, 192 complaints were filed against police in 2020. 101 are still under investigation, and 59 complaints were unfounded.
This is always a concern for myself and the top team as we continue to ensure that our officers do the right thing. And where we find that they go contrary, they are charged and put before the court. We want to build that trust with the Bahamian people, that they want to know that their police officers are with them and not against them.
Police-involved shootings decreased by 25% last year. There were 12 incidents in 2023 compared to 16 incidents in 2022. Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Vonik Tude.
Okay, so let's look a little bit deeper at some of these numbers. Again, when you work with percentages, I think sometimes you can get a skewed picture. All right, so 2023 we're talking about. Can you remember 2020? A long time ago. All right, so murder was down 14%. From 128 to 110.
Right.
Attempted murder was down 26% from 47 to 35. Manslaughter was down 25% from 4 to 3. See that? One fewer, but 25%. Armed robbery was down 34% from 555 to 368. Robbery was down 44% from 124 to 70. And attempted robbery was down 30% from 10 to 7. 33 murder victims were on bail, as you heard in the report. 33. 25 were being electronically monitored. And 80 were known to police. So is that 25 separate from the 33? Or is that an additional number?
No, I think that's a part of it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's 33 out of the 33, 25 are being monitored.
Wait, now why would only 25 of the 33 be monitored? Why are these other ones allowed to roam free? You sure?
Maybe based on the crime. Based on the crime. It's not necessary.
There you go. So that's what I'm saying. So 33 were murder victims are on bail. 25 were being electronically monitored. Then I think that's 25. Anyway, I don't know. That's strange.
You're thinking it's 33 out on bail. Then there's an additional 25 who are being monitored.
Why weren't all of them being monitored? How would you have murder? Why were you out on bail? Oh, maybe, like you said maybe they weren't. Anyway, okay, yeah, maybe it wasn't that. I don't know. Anyway, a lot of people.
Maybe the decision was, for whatever reason, a decision was made that they would not wear.
Okay, sure. Fernando says 70 of the suspects arrested for murder in 2023 were on bail. 75. 65% of murderers were retaliatory, gang, or conflict related. Once again, he's using the word solved. Police said they solved 65% of murders that happened in 2023. The majority on New Providence, as usual, 106. 3 murders on Abaco, 1 in Eleuthera. Now, these comments here, I'm sure some people will have issues, but I mean, it's not bad advice. I don't think it's only bad advice for women. But there were 61 rapes reported in 2023 compared to 55 in 2022. Fernando urged women to be careful when they move about New Providence. He said, quote, "When you walk, make sure there is a well-lit area. Make sure run with other people. Those who live alone, pay attention to your surroundings. Ensure that your homes are well lit and you have security screens, locks on your doors, and CCTV. Don't catch rides with strangers, please. That's why you have bus transportation or family members you can reach out to. Be careful with who you're catching rides with. He didn't say that was me, in case you're wondering.
I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we know Yaha.
Right.
Continue.
All right. According to the statistics, 97% of rape victims were women. 3% obviously were men. And 72% of the victims were under 35. 8 victims were tourists. 95% of rape suspects were men. 95, okay. And 73% were under the age of 35. Interesting. According to the data, attempted rape was down 10% from 10 in 2022 to 9 in 2023. And undercourse was down 4% from 139 to 134. Now, regarding unlawful sexual intercourse, which includes incest, 75% of the reported victims knew the alleged assailant. Okay, which includes, right? I would say, but that goes
Right,
out.
which
That goes without
includes
saying.
incest, right.
Okay. 75% of the reported victims knew the alleged assailant, and 2% of the reported victims were foreign nationals. The majority of the reported victims were between the ages of 14 and 16. Fernandez saying, quote, "At this juncture, I wish to say to parents, please continue to pay attention to your kids, especially the females. We noticed the trend online that youngsters will make contact online with adult males, and when they will meet and then the act happens, we continue to arrest individuals who take advantage of our young darlings, and we will not stand by to let that continue to happen. We're charging a number of people where we get the information and are responsible." Okay. So other crimes, crimes against the property down 19%, burglary down 38%, housebreaking down 27%, shop breaking down 28%, stealing from a vehicle down 38%, stolen vehicle reports down 22%. Stealing was unchanged, though. Fernandez says police confiscated 355 guns and nearly 9,000 rounds of ammunition in 2023. Police seized 300 pistols, 15 revolvers, 30 rifles, and 10 shotguns. By comparison, police seized 370 guns in 2022. Police seized 4,598 pounds of cocaine last year, more than 10,000 pounds of marijuana, and police confiscated 962 amphetamine tablets, 167 methamphetamine tablets, 2 ecstasy pills, just 2, and 226 tablets of this word I cannot pronounce, but it's commonly known as MDMA or Molly. Fernandez says his goal is to continue to keep crime down in 2024. But he said, quote, "It won't be easy." Okay, let's talk about some of this. Any issues with the comments about rape? I think, as I said, I don't think that's just advice for women. I think men need to do all those things as well. Make sure their homes are well lit and CCTV and lock the doors and screens and all that stuff. And be careful who you catch rides with. Absolutely. You don't know what they're doing or what they got in that car and who wants them and who wants to do something to them. So, yeah, there's great advice for everybody. I don't think that's any bit of victim blaming. That's just good, sensible advice.
No.
Yeah. All right. So we know we still have major challenges. And this year already, murder up 10% this year. So this is going to be a rough one. Let's get your views on it. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Toll free 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us 422-4796. Okay. We've got a lot of your text. Let's get to some of these. This person says, "Good morning. In this country, crime is a business for the police, the lawyers, and the court system." I think that's everywhere. But But I hear you. Okay, they say my volume is low, especially compared to Laverne. I don't know if that is the case, but okay. We'll see if we can do something. This person says here, I wish these people would stop saying they solved these crimes. Making an arrest and charging doesn't mean the murder or crime is solved. This one says here, so rape doesn't happen with people you know? Why are you asking that? Who said it? Who said otherwise? What are you saying? I don't like how the burden of being raped is always placed on women. I don't think that's not what anybody was saying, but he's giving advice.
I think the intention was to, based on the information that he has, the facts, the data, it's showing that women are more vulnerable. And so I believe he was just giving women some advice on how best they can. Some of the things that they can do to help to protect themselves.
Yeah. Based on what he said, we can deduce that obviously there were people out walking and running in the dark who were raped. That there were people who were in their homes and the doors were unlocked and the screens were open or whatever, and people got in and raped them. Right? And people were catching rides.
So
we reported that almost every month, that somebody was catching a ride with somebody, or they were walking and someone kidnapped them. And so this is what he's trying to say.
Right. And so it's just some tips to just try to safeguard yourself. I don't necessarily see that as putting the burden on women, but those are tips as if you would get them for anything else.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep. And the texter goes on.
There are evil people out there.
Indeed. The texter goes on and say the problem is the rapists, not the victims. They need to tackle the actual problem, which is the culture around rape. That is absolutely true. But who's the they? Because that they is all of us, right? So it's not just the police. I mean, it probably is not the police at all. Well, anyway, has a role to play in that, right? Parents, all of us who laughs when people make very stupid off-color jokes, right? All these things are feeding into this rape culture. In quotation marks there. But we all need to tackle that. But the police are telling you what to do to avoid being a victim. They would tell you that about what to do with your car as well, right? When you're at the ATM. Yes, the problem is the thief with the gun, but you also need to be very careful going to that ATM at 3:30 in the morning.
That will help you.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, and that will probably help you not to get robbed.
Do you need to get that money at that hour? At that location? You need to think about that. Not victim blaming, but my goodness, why did you do that? I mean, you could have waited. No? I don't know. We all need to be very careful, everybody. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Let's go to the phone lines. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Are you there? Good morning.
Yeah, Dwight, as a senior man, right? I don't have no comments, but I would like to say that if they're really serious, right, in order to curtail the behavior of these apes, right, that rapes, right, how about making rape with a home invasion or a robbery lifetime, or at least 25 years, no less? Because when you rape someone, you have to be empathetic here. Try and feel what it is for a female to have somebody breathing over you, nasty, whatever it is. It's just an invasion. And so the time should be increased, not just for the possession of a firearm or whatever, but rape is really, all right, you rape someone with in possession of a firearm in their homes. You invaded their privacy in their house and in their body. You think that deserves 7 years or 8 years? Man, Dwight, come on, Eric. Barbarous, inhumane act. And it should be treated as such. All right? And I'm a male, and, I could afford to say that because I wouldn't have sex unless it's reciprocal, okay? And I just want to see the time increase for the beasts that roam our streets. As a matter of fact, I was told by a good friend of mine that a deceased friend that I knew, well, through a friend, did these things, some of these things, okay? He's dead now, but I don't know what's from. But what I'm saying is, when I found out that that's what he did on some things, I was like, wow, I couldn't believe it. So sometimes you don't know who people are, Dwight. That's what I'm saying. So you can't say if you know someone. People life is based on deception. Why we can't believe that? You saw the other day, Mr. Strachan, an officer was accused of moving some money from a businessman, right? The commissioner came on and said they're investigating. How long it takes to investigate that? You see, you have the police investigating the police, and they put out information to drive fair and what they want to do. But what is going on with this investigation? With all of the other nefarious activity by all of the officers that is on that was pronounced on the news, and so I'm frightened that this is selective reporting and selective investigation and selective everything. All right, so we can't get anywhere like that. What happened in the investigation? He said that he's investigating, so they're looking out for one another.
Okay, well, I don't know if that necessarily means that there, but in the report we heard how many? It's 100 and something still pending, I guess, still under investigation. So they're very busy, it sounds like, extremely busy. But 50-something were dismissed. But yeah, that always comes up, right? There does need to be a more independent body investigating the police. More of your text messages. You can continue to call in, though. This texter says here, the volume is fine. Okay. This one says here, that reminds me, can the commissioner please see to it that some form of electronic monitoring is done around Bremen's community? I heard him again mention being unable to get police assistance. It cannot be that a disabled person is subjected to persistent malicious harassment and nothing is being... Yes, we all want that matter to be cleared up somehow, some way. This person says, is there any surprise rape cases are high? If you feel it's okay to rape your wife, you can rape anyone. Oh, gosh. Think about that. But our courts, the prime minister, even the church, doesn't seem to take it seriously. Now, look how you brought that in here today. Wow. Oh, boy. Okay. This person says here, Dwight, you don't have to read this text on air. Okay. Why shouldn't I read this? This is a compliment. This is a great text. I want to read this. I don't get too many of these. This person says, hey, you don't have to read this text on the air, but I listen to your show every morning and want to congratulate you on its success. I find it educational and very informative. Can you please arrange a show on the proposed changes the government wants to make to the pension bill? Thank you. Yeah, definitely. We'll work on that one. Thank you very much for your kind words. Appreciate it. This person says here, when the Commissioner of Police states a crime is down, is he referring to down the road and around the corner? Overall. But the biggies are always not down, up or flat. And that is what concerns everybody. It makes everybody uncomfortable when they hear that type of talk. And that's unfortunate.
But I think, didn't this report say that some of those, like murder, was down?
For 2023, compared to 2022, yes.
Right.
But look what happened now. We're already up
in 2024.
10%.
Right.
Of course, who knows? We got a good portion of the year left. Things might turn around. But so far, we're off to a not so good start.
Not a very good start.
But back to this text. How in one breath can he say crime is down, but also says murder's up and that there was an uptick in rape? What metrics are they using? Like I said, it's all kinds of... You heard all those other things I mentioned? Car break-ins, right. Stealing from here, stealing from that. Right. Yeah.
So there's more than, they're looking at more than one area of crime. Mm-hmm. And while there may have been an increase and, they've been a decrease in 10 areas. So that's why he can say overall it's down.
Yeah. All right, so here we go. And the first of the many, I'm sure, to come, extreme text messages of the day. Perhaps it's time for the police to simply admit they can't protect us and allow us to carry weapons so we can protect ourselves. That's what you got from that report. Yeah, the same people who can't drive, who run every light, who drive in the morning with no headlights on. These people you think should be allowed to carry weapons to protect themselves. Yep. Okay. Because we'll be better off than what we have now. Did you hear what we read in the overnight? The priest and the bishop in the church in Australia, a kid comes up and stabs them. You heard about that? The second incident like that in a few days in Australia? people in malls in the United States shot by somebody they've never seen in their life? Yeah? Okay. Right. Sure. All right. Anyway, good morning. One tricky way perpetrators will trick their victims is when two friends catch a riot with a family member or friend. The perpetrator will let one off, the one they know, and lie to the other that they have to stop, or another friend and invite. Okay, this is either a testimonial or tutorial. I don't feel comfortable reading the rest of it, but yeah. Bottom line, be careful who you catch rides with. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, this person says, Dwight, they need to make the punishment way more years because the beautiful young lady. Oh boy, what's this about? Okay. Anyway, yes, absolutely, we need to look at those things. Totally agree. You need to increase punishment. I don't want to read the rest of that one either. It's a lot. It's a lot that people are going through and a lot that they're dealing with in this country. It's a lot, but it could be a lot worse. But it's still a lot. It's still too much. But yeah, continue to call in 323-6232, 325-4316. 325-4259, toll free, 242-300-5720. All right, so I know a lot of people will say that even when the police say crime is down, they don't feel like it's down.
The fear of crime,
right. It's still high. What about there in Grand Bahama? How is it for you all there? Are you facing or feeling the things that people here in New Providence say?
In terms of crime?
And in feeling safe and feeling, I mean, there aren't many issues, it seems. Definitely not like here. And even in smaller places, it seems like there's more going on than Grand Bahama.
I think that generally we feel safe. Of course, we tend to take precaution, as do most people. But I think generally there is not a fear of crime here in Grand Bahama.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you're cautious, but I don't believe that people are walking around feeling unsafe or afraid that something is going to happen to them. But that doesn't necessarily mean that we're just, willy-nilly, that kind of throw caution to the wind.
Yeah.
But I think that there is overall a feeling that I am safe.
Yeah.
I will take whatever precautionary measures I need to take, but overall, I do feel safe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Interesting. All right. We're going to take a break.
We feel safe. Our fears are other things, fear of
want to hear that.
maybe having to leave this island because you are unable to provide for your children, fear, those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
Those are our prevailing issues.
Yeah, that's very sad. Wow. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, there's been a piece I wanted to play for 2 days now. We've just been caught up. We're going to finally get to it this morning about what's being done in the downtown area to reduce flooding, and some interesting comments from the Prime Minister on a tour that he did of the work that was being done. I'm going to let you hear this and get your views on it. And we got a lot more to talk about on this Tuesday morning. We're still celebrating the 12th anniversary of Guardian Radio and Morning Blend, and so we're still playing songs that were big hits. We'll be back. Stay with us.
Pennies and dimes for a kiss. I wasn't looking for this, but now you're in my way. Your stare was holding, ripped jeans, skin was showing, hot night wind was blowing. Where you think you're going, baby? Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but here's my number, so call me maybe.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
RBC.
Is a bit for all of you.
Are you buying a home, renovating, or exploring mortgage options? With cash back and up to 90% financing, we'll find the perfect mortgage for you. Pre-qualify in just 60 seconds and get connected with a mortgage specialist today. Visit rbc.com/mortgages/all of you. RBC.
Is a bit for all of you.
Conditions apply.
.40 the time for your first look at traffic for the morning, brought to you by RBC, a bank for all of you. In your real-time traffic, as usual, at this hour, got Mile Butler Highway. Heavy traffic for you from just north of Bellet Road as you make your way to Fire Trail through that roundabout up to Tonic Williams Darling Highway. Heavy traffic for you northbound there this morning. Your alternate route, Glaston Road, also busy for you just north of Fire Trail, straight up to the roundabout of JFK Drive and Bahamar Boulevard. Got some Blue Hill Road as well, from Soldier Road straight through to the roundabout with Independence Drive. And then in eastern New Providence, we're seeing heavy traffic at the major intersections along Prince Charles Drive. So as you approach Fox Hill and especially Beatrice Avenue. And Soldier Road, between Soldier and Old Trail, Robbins Road, some building traffic there, but Soldier's busy just north of that intersection as you make your way toward Bernard, Wolf, and Village. Wolf Road seeing some congestion just west of that intersection and on the way to Marathon Road. Eastern Road also busy for you just east of Fox Hill to about Johnson Road. That's what we're seeing so far. That's your first look at traffic this morning. We'll have another update for you after the 8 o'clock news. Morning Blend Traffic brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/all of you for more information. And it's time for another check of your weather brought to you by Easy Car Sales. Here's what's happening. We've got an inverted trough just east of the islands. That's going to trigger some light to moderate shower activity over portions of the central southeast Bahamas today. In the northwest Bahamas, stable and mostly dry as a result of a ridge of high pressure. There is a moderate risk of rip currents, though, along east coast beaches. So for today, your forecast for the northwest and central Bahamas, partly to mostly sunny, warm, and breezy, turning mostly fair and mild tonight. Small craft caution in effect for Atlantic waters. For the southeast Bahamas, partly cloudy to cloudy early on, start of the day, with a few scattered showers and a few possible offshore thunderstorms. But by this afternoon, turning partly to mostly sunny, warm, and breezy. And mostly fair and mild tonight with a chance of a stray shower. Small craft advisory in effect for Atlantic waters. Temperatures today getting up to around 88 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 70 Fahrenheit, 21 Celsius. In your extended outlook, that trough will migrate further away from the area as high pressure begins to build just to the north of the islands by Wednesday. And this should be the dominant weather feature for the next few days. And that's going to bring mostly dry and stable weather across the country. So for tomorrow, Wednesday, partly mostly sunny, warm and breezy with a chance of a few early morning passing showers across portions of the southeast Bahamas, fair and mild at night. Thursday, mostly sunny and warm with a slight chance of a few daytime sprinkles across the central and southeast Bahamas, fair and mild at night. That's your morning blend. Weather check brought to you by Easy Car Sales. Easy Car Sales invites you to discover the world of electric vehicles. There are 3 quality brands and many models to choose from. Sedans, SUVs, and pickups are all in stock, even commercial vans and trucks for your business. The road to sustainability starts with a single test drive. Visit easy242.com and get on the road to a better electric future.
You've seen electric cars on the road, but isn't it time you drive one? Easy Car Sales invites you to experience the smooth, powerful ride and immerse yourself in the luxury and latest tech features. Find out why the Bahamas is going electric. Visit easy242.com and book your test drive now. What are you waiting for? Smarter. There's an EV waiting for you at Easy Car Sales.
Doctors Hospital has reimagined primary care. We have invested to improve our health system, ensuring that accessible, affordable, world-class clinical care is closer to you. We understand that your relationship with a primary care provider shapes the foundation of your overall health. Our new modern primary care facilities are where critical diagnoses and true personalized treatment begins. With locations across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Exuma, we invite you to experience the Doctors Hospital difference. Book your next appointment at clinics.doctorshosp.com.
In 2023, over 9 million visitors came to the Bahamas. This year, we plan on shattering that record. That's why tourism is everyone's business.
Paradise is not only found in Nassau, but throughout our 16-island destination.
No matter who you are or what you do, we all have a part to play in our tourism industry.
This is our country.
These are our islands.
This is our home.
That's why tourism is everyone's business.
Wherever you're headed, the Cushow team is standing by to help guide you in the East and the West. We now have 2 convenient locations on Patton Street in Palmdale and our newest store in the Caves Village Shopping Plaza through the Blake Road entrance. Discover the latest products by top international brands and the knowledge you need to unleash tomorrow's technology today. Drop by Custom Computers out east or out west. We're open Saturdays from 10 till 4.
Maybe it's time to explore your options. There's no harm in reviewing your mortgage arrangement and considering a better deal. CIBC Caribbean can help you narrow your search and decide. Switch your mortgage to CIBC Caribbean and enjoy a special interest rate and help towards your switching cost. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/inspired home for more information. Conditions apply.
Make Mother's Day one to remember with a delightful Mother's Day brunch valued at $300 courtesy of Haagen-Dazs and Fun Foods Wholesale. It's simple. Just head over to Lickety Split or Super Value locations and purchase a pint of your favorite Haagen-Dazs ice cream. Don't forget to write your full name and number on the back of your receipt and drop it into any entry box at the store. You're now in the running for our grand prize drawing, taking place on May 10th. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Happy Mother's Day from Haagen-Dazs. Promotion ends May 8th.
At Wendy's, we are different. We don't just use beef, it's fresh, never frozen. Our burgers are square because we never cut corners. Served hot off the grill with fresh lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and American cheese. We believe in fast food done right. Always serving fresh, never frozen beef. Order a hot, juicy Dave single, double, or triple. Made with fresh, never frozen beef. Now only at Wendy's. Different inside and out.
Here's to the go-getters, the early risers, and the late-night dreamers. You, the visionaries, painting futures in your mind, in your studio, your office, your sacred space. Here's to the adventurers, explorers of every realm. To you, the innovators, turning the cogs of progress. In a world where connection is a lifeline, a pathway to possibilities. Alive is the perfect connection for everyone, every lifestyle. Every day.
Visit BeAlive.com today.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
That's when all the digging began. They say they have to lay the pipe, but man is stressing out my life. All kind of dust in my nose, all over my car and my clothes. They say it's all for my good, but not right now in my neighborhood. The road them dig up, all the road them dig up. Everywhere they digging, morning, noon and evening. Dig up, all the road them dig up.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong along with Laverne Gardner. Oh yeah, I think that one came out in 2011, but it was still big in 2012 when we came on the air, as we were dealing with. Yeah, we were dealing with a lot of that by this time in 2012. It was quite something. But we're all better for it now, most of the choices that were made then. But we still have a lot of issues. Especially in the downtown area, where just a little bit of rain can turn Bay Street into a river or a canal. And so the government's trying to address this matter ahead of the rainy season, hopefully. And officials taking a tour of the downtown area and the work that's being done by the Ministry of Public Works on Wednesday. We've been meaning to talk about this for days, but we're finally going to get to it now. Take a listen to this report from our Vonig Toot. Going to get that report up for you in just a second here. Some interesting things are said about what the work is that they're doing, but also about what is being done in the east of East Street area, which we know has been an eyesore for so many years. And there's been so much talk about what we're going to do to fix it. But this is the latest on what's happening.
It is cost effective for the government for us to make sure that we don't redo work.
Officials from the Ministry of Works led Prime Minister Philip Davis on a tour of drainage works in the East Bay Street area on Wednesday, as officials strive to address a decades-long issue with flooding that has worsened in recent years. Davis said he wanted to get a first-hand look at the progress made.
One of the challenges for east of East Street has been the flooding. And as you would have heard in our tour, the drainage system has been very archaic. It's been built since the early 1900s with no maintenance. You could see for yourselves the cloggage and what else have happened. The progress of development in this area did not take into account the drainage system. So, for example, even the utilities infrastructure has been placed in the drainage system that stop what I call the progressive flow of water. All those are being corrected as we speak.
Works Minister Clay Sweeting said his team is carrying out a full scope of works on the drainage system that runs from Dowdeswell Street to the waterfront.
That has to be taken out. And that's why this whole surface has to be taken out. We're taking up the sidewalk. We're taking up the sidewalk, yeah. We want to restore this, and then the sidewalk will be put back on the surface, leaving this area closed and allowing water to flow through.
After that, he says a paving exercise will be carried out by Baham Mix. He noted it may call for an increase in the roadworks budget to nearly $50 million.
Baham Mix usually paves around 20 miles of road per year. This year, we hope to do up to 65 miles of road. We also allocated funding for drainage works, up to $2 million in drainage works as well. So all of it's working together with justice is part of increasing the budget to make sure that we can really take overall look, holistic approach to how we do business at the Ministry of Works. How much do you anticipate that? Well, it varies. So usually we spend, I think, around $15 million in regards to road works. This year, we hope to exceed hopefully around $45-50 million this year. Next budget cycle will do the same.
Asked when Bahamians can expect to see a marked improvement in the drainage system, the Prime Minister said this.
And yes, when you have a downfall, there will be some retention. The question is, how long will that retention remain and flow out? So I've been seeing remarkable results of what has been happening. And once it's completed, I think the drainage will be that much quicker.
The government has also been demolishing buildings east of East Street, which Davis described as a black hole for the country due to the lack of economic activity, despite being home to some of the island's most valuable pieces of real estate. He said the aim is to add attractions to the area.
We're thinking of perhaps considering some kind of attraction that will include some cultural and other activities east of East Street so that we can have attract more of those persons off the ship, come and enjoy what we have.
Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Vonique Tude.
Hey, want to get your reaction to it. Encouraging, right? We're going to fix the downtown flooding. It's terrifying, those videos that you see. I'm sure it's even worse if you're in it. Having to drive through that, it looks extremely deep. And it goes for such a long stretch, and people still drive through it. I don't understand. I was going to turn around right on that one-way street. Absolutely, you better believe it. And go one of those side streets. I wasn't driving through it. But yeah, something desperately needs to be done, and hopefully they will address this. But what I want to talk about, though, is what he's saying about east of East Street. And I'm not... This part bothers me, disturbs me, right? They're still using words like considering and thinking. Like, we are here in 2024. The plan needs to be set. We need to know what we're doing. We cannot still be talking about thinking and considering. The last time Chester Cooper was here, we talked to him about this. We said there have been so many master plans and proposals on the table. We still are thinking, considering. That means everything is still up in the air. And what are we waiting for? This doesn't make sense to me. We need to have a master plan now for east of East Street. Is it just me? Am I expecting too much? Are there bigger fish to fry? Is this what you all are going to tell me today? What's your view on this? 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Are we still going to leave this in the heads, the minds of the property owners to decide what they're going to do, or are we going to tell them, this is what we want down here, make it happen? Which one is it?
I think based on the word choice, they're just choices that maybe treading carefully or lightly, and that's fine. You don't have
No,
to
it's not
agree with
fine.
that.
That's why it looks like that. That's why it looks like that. You can't tread lightly.
I said that's fine that you may not agree with it. That's what I mean.
Okay.
Not that the conditions are fine, but they seem to the word.
This is not encouraging. It's disturbing. We shouldn't be here. Maybe 5-10 years ago when it was as horrible. It's better now because some of the buildings have been demolished. But by then, we should have had an idea for what we wanted. People have made proposals. We've said many things over and over and over. We need to be further along with this, not considering. The I thing was mentioned years ago. Many other things have been mentioned. An entertainment district, design district. So the proposals for high-rise buildings where people will live to turn
So there's no
to turn Nassau. Yes, to turn Nassau once again into a living city.
It's just that
we're still waiting.
Seems to be a dragging of the feet.
Yeah, very much so.
When it comes to which idea you're going to go with.
Flooding has to be addressed in order for people to really be able to decide how this is going to work. There's no way you could do anything without the flooding being addressed. So perhaps that is what is holding up the plan. I don't know. But my God, I need to hear a different type of language from our officials. Let's take these calls really quickly and see if we can do this. Let's squeeze this one in. You got 30 seconds, caller.
Wow, I held on. Morning, Dwight. You're right. Morning, Laverne.
Hi.
But Dwight, I totally agree with you, man. I totally agree with you, Dwight. I mean, we need solutions, man. We don't need individuals who's supposed to be the people in power could do anything to be can give us definite answers. I remember Chester Cooper was in there with you, and you would ask him a question. I said, "Watch Mr. Cooper don't give Dwight," because you asked him about a specific time period. I said, "Watch Mr. Cooper don't give Dwight a time." I mean, he didn't, because he didn't want to tie himself down to say, "Well, okay, you could have come back and say, well, Mr. Cooper, this is what's to be done." But Dwight, I mean, with the road works, man, I mean, tell them cut some of that millions of that road works. If we got $50 million to spend on the road, we should have a couple of $1 million to put some dialysis machines inside the hospital, all right? And the thing I don't like about this road works is one time ago, our government used to pave the roads, and now we stopped paving the roads, and we have private people pave them green machine that the government used to use to pave the road, and let's save ourselves some money. All right, let's stop giving out these contracts and having people do things that the government used to do.
Okay.
That the government doesn't do anymore because people want their own money. All right,
they're still doing that. Bahamix is government. They're still doing that. It's still happening. There are private companies, but the government is still. All right, we got to go to the news. Stay with us.
Dig up, on the road them dig up, everywhere they digging, morning, noon and evening. The road them dig up, on the road them dig up. Got to go north to go south, got to go east to get to west. It's like you're driving in the mist. The traffic goes right up.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Get another check of your weather in, and welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Weather brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints at 8:24 a.m. Here is what's happening. We've got an inverted trough to the east of the islands. That's going to trigger light to moderate shower activity over portions of the central and southeast Bahamas today. In the northwest Bahamas, stable and mostly dry conditions will prevail, courtesy of a ridge of high pressure, but there is a moderate risk of rip currents along east coast beaches. For today, your forecast for the northwest and central Bahamas. We're looking at partly to mostly sunny, warm, and breezy conditions, turning mostly fair and mild tonight. Smoke-craft caution in effect for Atlantic waters. For the southeast Bahamas, partly cloudy to cloudy early on today, with a few scattered showers and a possible offshore thunderstorm. Becoming partly to mostly sunny, warm, and breezy by this afternoon, turning mostly fair and mild at night, with a chance of a stray shower. Small craft advisory again in effect for Atlantic waters. Temperatures today getting up into the 80s, about 82 Fahrenheit. Overnight lows tonight getting down about 70 Fahrenheit, 21 Celsius. In your extended outlook, that trough is going to migrate further away from our area as high pressure begins to build north of the islands by Wednesday. And this feature is going to maintain mostly dry and stable weather across the country for the remainder of the week. So for tomorrow, Wednesday, partly mostly sunny, warm and breezy with a chance of a few morning showers across portions of the extreme southeast Bahamas, turning fair and mild at night. Thursday, mostly sunny and warm with a slight chance of a few daytime sprinkles across the central and southeastern islands, fair and mild at night. That's your morning blend weather check. Weather check brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints. Sherwin-Williams Paints has got you covered for all your painting and equipment needs. Visit Sherwin-Williams Paints online or in-store today. And at 8:27, time for another check of your traffic for the morning, brought to you by RBC, a bank for all of you. In your real-time traffic, we're seeing heavy traffic on West Bay Street near Saunders Beach. That's eastbound traffic as you approach the roundabout with New Providence Highway. New Providence Highway also busy for you northbound heading toward that roundabout. And a bit of congestion for you, not unmanageable, on West Pass, Arawak Key, and head toward Nassau Street this morning. Elsewhere, six-legged roundabout also busy for you. We've got eastbound traffic on JFK Drive, a bit of congestion southbound on New Providence Highway, northbound on Milo Butler Highway, and just a bit of congestion on the Farrington Road side as well. Of course, Milo Butler Highway, heavy traffic well south of Bellet Road this morning, through the Fire Trail roundabout, straight up to Tonic Williams Darling Highway in northbound. And traffic backed up a bit for you along Fire Trail east and westbound, but especially eastbound this morning toward the Milo Butler Highway roundabout. Glaston Road also busy northbound, just north of Fire Trail this morning. We've got some slow-moving traffic on Carmichael westbound to Coral Harbor Road, and then Blue Hill Road looking busy for you near St. Vincent, near Carmichael, and especially near Soldier Road on the way to the Independence Drive roundabout. And Independence Drive, a bit of congestion westbound toward that roundabout with Blue Hill Road, East Street, just north and south of the Soldier Road intersection, not looking pleasant for you, especially northbound. And Robbins Road is busy between Soldier and Old Trail, and Soldier Road through that intersection with Bernard Wolf and Village Road. Heavy traffic for you along various spots there. Eastern Road, not moving, just east of Fox Hill to about Johnson Road. Good luck to you this morning. That's your real-time traffic and Morning Blend Traffic Alert brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/all of you for more information.
From Shelley and Dee Dee.
We're the only full art store in the Bahamas. If we don't have it, we make a list, and trust me, if you need that, he gonna get that. You can find sketchbooks, acrylics, the canvases in all sizes, stencils. We have the Angelus that they use on shoes and letters. We're the only persons in Nassau that carries the Montana spray. We have the Krylon sprays, watercolor and paints, the oil, chalk paints, the alcohol paint, metallic paints, the little Floetrol, and we have cleaning products for the artists, thinning products for the artists, and Crayola colors, and glitters, pencils, the Posca markers, and pastels, oil, and the acrylic pastels, dyes. Oh yeah, we also have airbrush paint. I didn't forget that part of the movie. Gift sets, hobby craft,
Oil, shrimp,
glaze.
stew, shrimp gumbo. But art supplies. We have a lot of them. Sherwin-Williams Art Store. Find colour in every day.
You and I go hard at each other like we're going to war. You and I go rough. We keep throwing things and slamming the doors. You and I get so damn dysfunctional, we start keeping score. You and I get sick. Yeah, I know that we can't do this no more. Yeah, but baby, there you go again, making me love you. Yeah, I stopped using my head, let it all go. Got you stuck on my body like a tattoo. And now I'm feeling stupid, falling back to you. So I cross my heart and I hope to die that I'll only stay with you one more night. And I know I said it a million times, but I'll only stay. Try to tell you no.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner today. And coming up in a few minutes, we're going to be talking about Participate Learning. And to learn more about that, it's an exciting program for Bahamian teachers to get their master's degrees while teaching abroad. We'll find out more in just a few minutes. But we want to continue what we were talking about before the break. The Prime Minister and government officials touring Bay Street and east of East Street, the downtown area where flooding has been notoriously horrible after rainfall, and seeking to address that issue, but also saying something, but not much, about the plans for east of East Street, an area of extreme neglect, and that we're trying to address by tearing down buildings. But what is the plan for the way forward? Many ideas, Laverne, as we've said, have been put forth over years, decades of papers, studies, all these things, and yet it still looks the way it is. The Prime Minister, in the report we played earlier, saying how they are, quote, they are thinking and considering putting attractions there that will get tourists to go down there. I'm saying this is not the type of language we need to be hearing right now. We need to be hearing concrete plans on what we're going to do. So we're getting your reaction to that, and you can quickly call in about this before we have to move on. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Okay, we got a lot of your text messages here. Laverne, this person says here, it's good to hear the Prime Minister because when he first started referencing it, he was crying about climate change. Everything isn't climate change. Sometimes it's our dumb designs. Speaking of which, who approved all these shacks to be built on the sand at Long Wharf? When are they going to be removed? Okay, there's a lot of everything there. Boy, okay, interesting. This person says here, I get your concern, but the property owners run the show downtown. Oh, yeah? That's if you want them to. But anyway, and until they get what they want, the government is powerless. Oh, no. Don't believe that. Don't believe that one bit.
Yeah, because there has to be, you can't buy a piece of property and just have it sitting there, the building run down and just neglected for years and years. There has to be some sort of obligation that you have to upkeep, to do something. And after a while, of course, I'm just saying this not knowing for sure, the government should be able to take this property back from you.
Yeah, yep. And as you said, after all these years, then you expect to run the show?
Right.
Oh, no.
Years of neglect.
Yeah. This is what we want down here. And if you're going to continue to own this property, this is what your property will need to look like in line with the plan. The master plan that we have come up with. We want it to be an entertainment district. We want there to be outdoor cafes on the sidewalk or whatever. We want there to be restaurants, and we want people to be living in high-rise buildings. Whatever it is that you want, that's what you have to say, and the owners have to comply or get out. Get out. And if they can't do it, yeah, get out. But anyway, and the texter goes on to say, there is no hope of downtown becoming a living city. Well, that's why. Why is that? Because of what? Because of the property owners? They've said that about many other places in the world, many other cities. If you remember, Laverne, did you used to go to Miami in the 80s?
No.
And early 90s? What? What now? Where did you used to go?
Who said I went anywhere?
You didn't travel in the 80s and 90s. Is that what you're saying? Okay. Well.
That is exactly what I'm saying.
This is a first. I've never heard of a Bahamian of your age saying something like that. That's interesting.
Well, it's
okay.
absolutely true.
Well, that's beautiful. I mean, well, if you did, downtown Miami was a place, sounds familiar, right? That you'd want to leave by 5:30 p.m. It's not like that anymore. They've had a boom all over Miami, towns and cities, as they've revitalized areas and turned them into living cities. It can happen, and there are many other examples all over the world where downtowns were as derelict as ours, and they have changed things because they had a plan, and they stuck to it, and they got everybody on board. And those who didn't want to get on board,
it's very possible to do that.
Yeah,
this isn't a hopeless case. We can do this if we have the mind and the will to do it.
Absolutely. Whoever cannot get on board, get out, and that should go for every part of the country, including there in Grand Bahama, Laverne. But that's another show. Let's take this call. Good morning. You're on the air.
How you doing?
Doing well.
All right, and good morning to Laverne. Well, the thing with downtown that I like to look at is this been happening as a conversation we've been having about the revitalization of downtown. I look at now, this has been happening for years. We've been talking about it. So I like to examine who actually own these buildings and why is it that a group of people have the capacity, because you have to have capacity because they're doing it. So that's fair. So you say, who has the capacity to hold a country hostage when that country wants to express and expand its economical advantages, which is lent to its global reach and for future generations? And I want to know, and so when we start to examine that, I think it'll bring us closer to a certain reality that we do have people or groups of people who could hold us hostage. And that is, I think, at the heart of it, because like you guys said, legislation could speak to this immediately. Even if there isn't none to speak to it, we could take a consensus from the population into legislation tomorrow, pass it through the Senate, right? So it's like, Sorry, go on.
These owners, most of them, yes, probably have really done us a bad job, done bad service, right? But I do think that the lack of a plan is the bigger problem. If they could see that they have a specific goal for this area, plenty of them would get in line or get out.
Let me ask you this. So I think then we should have, or everyone on the radio should be advocating a country town hall meeting to let the owners and the representations of the government speak to the people and let's bring this at the forefront. I say this is something that I think we could use, a town hall meeting, record it nationally, all media outlets come, and the people speak to the owners and the government simultaneously and come up with, say, what is not allowing this to happen. And I think by doing that and having that conversation, we'll move of the mystique or the negotiations and see it out front. And let's see.
That's happened already, They had meetings with the owners, if not last year, the year before last. They did that. And that's why some of the buildings have been demolished. But again, what is the plan? Right? We don't want it to look as bad as it looks, so we'll tear down the buildings that are falling apart and we'll put some green spaces there. But is there a real master plan for the area? So all these things, as you mentioned, everything has already happened. We've done this before, except for the master plan that is fully agreed to, and everybody knows where we're heading and what timeline this. Now, and again, the drainage issue might be the first step. Might be, but we're not hearing the master plan. We keep hearing considering and thinking. And that's disturbing. But the drainage issue has to be addressed. Without a doubt, I don't think you couldn't do anything unless that is fixed. Because no one's going to invest all that money if somebody throws a water bottle down and then the whole street becomes a lake. So be the part, but again, we all would like to hear what the future could look like and see some drawings, something, but yeah.
I agree with you in that regard, just because I think that we have to start, I think the negotiation or even the owners or the drainage situation, I think everyone should advocate for that.
Yeah.
And then secondly, move towards the actual plan, because from what you're saying is that the drainage is the major stoppage, because that would start the flow.
It definitely could be.
Well, I think we should just advocate for that and make sure no matter what happened that they put that infrastructure in place. And if it will cost tax dollars or not, or how that is going to happen, we need to address that first. So now things can actually look feasible and practical.
Sure.
But I think if that don't get addressed, then now we have the problem. We have two problems.
Yeah, but also you don't need to wait till. Thank you, caller. Appreciate it. You don't have to wait till that is fixed to have a plan. And it feels like that's the case, because that's going to take a number of other years before you can get that up and running. If now that we fix the drainage, now we have to come up with a plan. Boy. Let's take one more call, and then we got to go to a break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Are you there? Hi, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Strachan.
Hi.
Mr. Strachan, I work in engineering for almost 3 years, and so any plumber would know that plumbing goes beyond just putting pipes together, and so I would hope that I haven't seen, so this is why the gentleman that called, I like to listen to him, and so with a town hall meeting, you would have inputs, so it is really pretty simple. I haven't seen them, or maybe someone could explain to me if they were collecting data on the flow rates, where they could say, well, they know how much interest rainfall it collects there within an hour. But then they have to be reminded that some of that water collecting is a result of displacing and compacting the harbor or the port, right? Which is just common physics. Common sense, right? And it's physics. It's just like buoyancy and displacement in the ship keel, right? So that's what I'm saying. So, Dwight, what I'm saying is, in other words, they need to know if they're collecting data for gallons per minute. Then they'll be able to determine the GPA, the gallons per minute of the pumps that they install to help facilitate the gravitational flow, the diameter of the pipes. We don't want them to spend the taxpayers' money and then at the end of the day, we still have the same problem because I already hear him saying there's no guarantee that it will stop the problem. So what I'm saying is let's use some practical engineering solutions to make sure we stand a chance as a pig and show people the data on this particular water collection. So
Okay.
I see if they decided to build a trough, or you say you have a pipe, you could have collected some data to get an idea of the sense of how much water is flowing here, because it all goes back to the sea.
Yeah, that's good points there. Yeah, let's. You got 20 seconds, caller. Good morning. You're on the air. Hi.
Hello. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, Dwight.
Hi. Turn on your radio for us, please.
Yeah, Dwight. You could hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, Dwight. Why is it, right, our governments, right, allow the colonizers because that's what I refer to those people on our Bay Street as colonizers, right? They are able to do anything they want to do to our government or even the people, right? Because, like you indicated, if or the gentleman indicated, right, all the government them need to do is go and make a law for the vision that they have, right?
They have to have that first, the vision.
Right.
That's the part that's in question.
Yes, right. You're right. But I agree that the fact that Bay Street need to be a living city, right? It don't need to be the same antiquated. I mean, our prime minister traveling all of these cities, and you could tell me every city he land to is set up like the Bahamas. There's nothing he could come back and tell us, well, hey, that's a good idea over there. Or, I've been this place. There's nothing. Everything is right back to normal after coming to the Bahamas, right? No, man, something has to be wrong with that. Because you travel, you can't identify a city that you could bring to the Bahamas. Something is wrong with that, man, right?
Well,
but I agree we need something to be done on Bay Street, because Bay Street should not be allowed to just be sitting there because of visionless politicians, right? Because this is the reason why we don't have a Freedom of Information Act, right? Because why? A lot of things goes under the table, and vehement people can never really ever know about it simply because there's no way for us to know what it is. So we left to assume or thought or whatever, or all those other words what the Prime Minister used. We have to use those words because there's no information given us, man. But Bay Street needs to change.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, we don't need the Prime Minister to do that. There are people here who know exactly what Nassau should look like. But anyway, let's read these messages as we go to the break. This person says here, I would like to know the person who is in charge of estimating the cost of these projects, because it starts off at 10 and then you have to borrow another 15 million to cover it. This person says here, the Prime Minister is probably thinking of, okay, no, that's crazy. They're dragging their feet because they're trying to figure, oh my Lord, these text messages are getting worse. Eminent domain is the answer for downtown Nassau. Food is important, but we have to have greater or equal draws. We need more than just food downtown. That gets boring. Well, okay, yeah, you need a lot of things. Yeah, the plan is condos and high rises. That's what many want. Is that really the plan? We've been saying that for years, and that people can afford, not just for the rich, right? But we will see. Hey, we got to go to a break. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Then I'll only stay with you one more night.
Are you ready for the best of the best? Keep the Vibe Alive Music Group up for sound promotion, and Guardian Radio presents the best of the best Rake and Script Explosion Concert. Mark your calendars for May 11th as Super Club Breezes grounds Edmund Talent, featuring KB, Gino D, Funky D, Veronica Bishop, The Brylanders, Avi, Elon Moxie, and Shine 242.
Right now I feel like whining.
Join the Falcons, Iron Store, Sylvie Pierre, Johnny Cake, Mama D, Nishi LS, Pat Rami, Stevie BTS, and Shad Kali and the VIPs for an electrifying night of music and culture. Tickets are flying, so grab yours now. Available online at BahamasEtickets.com or swing by the Beauty Shack on Soldier Road and Carmichael Road. This is the event of the year. The best of the best rake and scrape explosion at Breezes Resorts. Gates open at 6 p.m. Don't miss out on the Bahamian magic.
Living with a neurological condition shouldn't define you. At Cleveland Clinic in Florida, we do whatever it takes to make life better today while discovering new treatments for a brighter tomorrow. From epilepsy management to specialized spine care and brain tumor surgery, we're delivering world-class neurology care for the day-to-day, for the days you live for every care in the world. Visit clevelandclinicflorida.org/.
Do you have uncontrollable debt? Are you ready to make that move to Fidelity for a stress-free future? These loans have a built-in savings plan that pays you unbeatable interest. Ask about our debt consolidation loans today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
The excitement, the fierce competition, the entertainment. On May 4th and 5th, our Bahamian athletes will compete with hundreds of the best from around the world to secure their spot in the Paris Olympics.
Gardner takes the title.
Come witness history as our athletes chase the sun from paradise to Paris at the 2024 World Athletic Relays. May 4th and 5th at the Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium. Get your tickets now at worldrelaysbahamas24.org or at the Andre Rogers Baseball Stadium box office.
At Simplified Lending, we've unscrambled the loan process, making it fast and hassle-free. Personal, business, medical. You apply, we'll reply in as little as 24 hours. Call us today at 603-1730 or stop by R&D Plaza on JFK Drive. Simplified Lending for simplified living.
Simplified living for simplified living. Simplified living for simplified living.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Fine light in the beautiful sea. I chose to be happy. You and I, we're like diamonds in the sky. You're a shooting star, I see, a vision of ecstasy. When you hold me, I'm alive. We're like diamonds in the sky. I knew that.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. And this morning we're changing gears, talking about a really exciting program that's going to allow Bahamian teachers to obtain their master's degrees and teaching experience in U.S. classrooms. To tell us about this, we're very pleased to welcome from Participate Learning, the International Recruitment Manager, Ronald Ramirez. Good morning. Great to have you on the show this morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Dwight, for having me in your program. My name is Ronald Ramirez. I'm the Recruitment Manager for Participate Learning in Latin America. I'm based in Costa Rica, and I'm so excited to share good news to all Bahamian teachers.
This is very exciting. Okay, so tell us about Participate Learning. How did it get started? What exactly is the goal here?
Well, Participate Learning is a cultural exchange program with the United States. We have been inviting teachers from all over the world since 1987.
Wow.
So the idea is to unite the world through global education. We want Bahamian teachers to go to North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia to teach, but not only to teach. We want Bahamian teachers to spread knowledge about the Bahamian culture. We want to know about history. We want to know about food. We want to know about traditions. We want to know everything about the Bahamian culture because we want future citizens. We want students to become global citizens. We want them to have empathy. towards a different culture. In this case, about the Bahamas culture, Bahamian culture.
Okay, so how many Bahamians have passed through the program? Have there been any?
Yes, 40 since 1990. Only 40 Bahamian teachers have been part of our program. Right now, we have only 5 excellent teachers from the Bahamas, and we want to invite more teachers to become not only teachers, but international ambassadors of the Bahamas.
All right, so how does it work? All of it is one thing together, or this is while you find a college on your own for your master's degree, we will set you up with a school to teach. Explain it to us exactly.
Okay, well, like I said, Participate Learning Exchange Program with the United States. We have it being approved by the State Department, so the teachers will get an exchange visa to work and to live legally in the United States. I want to clarify that there is no fee to apply. Okay, you go to our website, participatelearning.com, and you don't have to pay anything in order to apply. Okay, you have to have a degree in education, a driver's license, and you have to have the passion to be or to become a great teacher in the United States. Okay, once you pass all the interviews and you go through all the selection process, you will get the visa. One of the benefits is that you can take along your family, your immediate family members. You can take your husband, your wife, and you can take your kids under the age of 18.
All right, so you have to be in the program.
Oh, no. You have to first you have to apply. Okay, when you apply, you're going to get a teaching position, and then you're going to have the opportunity to teach in the United States. Okay, and then you can apply to do a master's degree either in Elon University or Greensboro College in North Carolina. Okay, with special grades. Participate learning teachers are going to have special grades for this particular master's degree.
Oh, wow.
Sarah, good morning. Good morning, Ronald. Is there a particular state that you focus on placing the successful candidates in for teaching, or is it all over the United States?
Okay, right now we're in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia.
Okay.
So Bahamian teachers can apply in either of these states.
And how long do you have to complete the master's degree and to be working and teaching in the U.S.?
You're going to teach from 3 to 5 years, okay, in either of those states. And if you wish, you can complete your master's degree either in 24 months or 36 months, because these are online master's degrees.
Okay, online. Okay, and you said you can bring your family as well.
You can bring your family too. You can bring your spouse. You can bring your kids under the age of 18.
Wow, and is there a limit on how many kids? I mean, how does this work exactly?
There's no limit for the kids. I mean, the thing is that, it all depends because, babysitting in the United States is very expensive. So it depends. If you apply, if you want to go with your family, you have to have at least 5 years of teaching experience. So your salary would be a little bit more higher, so you can afford certain things, right? When you're traveling with the family.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If you're a preschool teacher or primary, elementary school teacher, high school, does it make any difference at all?
No. It's open to kindergarten teachers, primary teachers, and high school teachers. Okay. So this is a great opportunity in order to boost your teaching career in the United States.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you said there have been 40 teachers from the Bahamas since 1990. And as far as you know, do these teachers return to the Bahamas or do they stay in the U.S.?
Oh, it's a culture exchange program, so they have to return.
They have to return.
Finish it. Yeah, they have to return. After they finish the program, after 5 years, they completed the program, and they have to come back to the Bahamas because they have to close the cycle. We have to close the hot cycle, which means we learn about the Bahamas, right? So students from the Bahamas are going to learn about the United States through the teacher that was in the United States in previous years.
Okay, all right. So because somebody,
and they have to share the knowledge. All they learn, they have to share it with the students.
Wow. Okay. Because somebody's some way for the U.S. to address a teacher shortage and recruit teachers, but you're saying no, you have to return to your country.
You have to return to your country.
Wow.
Yeah, and it is. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, my question was regarding if you bring your family with you, would your spouse have the ability to work or no?
Of course, yes. They will have the same visa that the participant learning teacher will have, and they will have the option to request a work permit that will allow them to live and work legally in the United States for up to 5 years.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. This is quite special. So tell us about the application process. You said there's no fee to apply. But what else? How long does that take? And how soon would somebody be able to get into the program?
Okay. Well, interested teachers, all you have to do is go to participatelearning.com, and everything is online. So it'll take you from 30 to 40 minutes to complete the online application. There is no fee to apply. You don't have to enter any credit card number or anything. Okay, it's totally free. The process consists of several interviews, okay, Zoom interviews, and we will ask for some references from previous teaching positions. We will ask for your university transcripts and all that in order to verify that you are a teacher. And the whole process will take you maybe 2 months, to finish. And then we will send you a link so you can request your interview at the U.S. Embassy in order to get your visa.
And the U.S. Embassy?
It's pretty simple.
U.S. Embassy here in Nassau?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, wow. All right. So the universities where the teachers will obtain their graduate degrees. Tell us about those in the program and some of the programs, the master's disciplines in which they can get their graduate degrees.
Sure. Well, you can apply to Greensboro College. In Greensboro College, you can go for the Masters of TESOL, for the Masters of Elementary Education, for a Master in Special Education and Kindergarten Education. And for Elo University, you can apply for the Master of Education in Innovation. Okay, so like I said, you're going to have a special rate. Okay, this is only a special rate for participant learning teachers. So you will pay a monthly fee in order to get the master's degree. And like I said, it'll take you from 24 months, depending on how many courses you want to take. It'll take from 24 months to 36 months, okay? And you will have plenty of time, because if you're planning to stay at least 3 years of the 5 years you can stay, you will have plenty of time to complete it.
Wow. And so it's possible that you could start in the fall. Is that how this works?
Yes, in the fall. You can start in the fall because you get there in the summer. Usually teachers fly out from the Bahamas and get there in July or August. And most of them will start their master's program the next year, the following year.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So are there other, if you are accepted into another university for your master's program outside of Greensboro and Elon. Is that a possibility? Can this still work?
You mean you can go that way, but you won't have the special rates that participant learning has with Greensboro College and Elon University. That's the thing.
Right. Okay. All right. All right, we're getting some more text messages here. People, you can text us, 422-4796. This person says here, I'd like to know if Bahamian teachers currently living in the USA are able to participate in this program.
No, there's only for Bahamian teachers that are still in the Bahamas.
Right. Plus, you'd have to return to the Bahamas, teachers. So I don't know if you're living over there. Yeah. So okay. All right. And again, give us where can people find more information? Give us a website and is it possible we can meet some of the teachers who've been in the program so they can tell us about it as well?
Sure. Well, like I said, all you have to do is go to participatelearning.com. Okay, to start this new adventure. As a teacher, okay, if you have the passion and if you want to boost your career in the United States, just go to participatelearning.com. And yes, Dwight, that's a possibility. We can arrange a meeting with one of our teachers from the Bahamas that are in North Carolina. I'll have to set that up with you guys, but someday maybe.
Yeah, that sounds great. And maybe teachers who've returned, teachers who are here, we can talk. We would love to talk with all of them. That would be great.
Yes.
Any possibility that you will have a program like this for broadcasters? Just asking for a friend.
No, only for teachers.
Oh, no.
Only for teachers right now.
Oh, dear. Okay. Well, this is very, very exciting. One more time, Ronald, give us that website.
Yeah, participatelearning.com. Okay, do not be afraid. This is no scam at all. We do not ask for any money, okay? Just go to participatelearning.com and apply for free. Okay, obviously, Dwight, once you travel to the United States, you're gonna have to pay for, to rent the house, to buy your car, but we will help you through the whole process. So we're gonna be with you 24/7 once you're in the United States.
Okay, and you're gonna be teaching full-time, but online doing your graduate degree.
Yes. Okay. You're going to be teaching in person, and the master's degree you're going to be doing it online.
Right. Okay. Great stuff. Very exciting. Again, we'd love to have you back with some of the teachers who've been in the program who are in the program. But Ronald Ramirez, great meeting you. Great talking with you. Thank you very much for telling us about Participate Learning. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We are going to break for the news and be back with full Morning Blend business when we get back. Stay with us here on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Shine bright like a diamond. Fine light in the beautiful sea. I chose to be happy. You and I, we're like diamonds in the sky. You're a shooting star, I see, a vision of ecstasy. When you hold me, I'm alive. We're like diamonds in the sky. I knew that we'd become one.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
The views and opinions of the host and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Tuesday, April 16th, 2024. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner today, filling in for Duke, joining us on Thursday. And Laverne, today we continue with Harborside Chats with the Governor. Part 1 we aired yesterday, and here's Part 2 today. Governor John Roll interviewing former governors James Smith, Julian Francis, and Wendy Craig about the evolution of central banking, challenges, and lessons. Let's get right to it with Governor Roll.
Hello and welcome. I'm Governor John Roll, and thank you for joining our Harborside Chat. I'm joined today, first of all, with Mr. James Smith, Governor Smith, who served as governor during the 1980s and into the 1990s. And his tenure was followed by Governor Julian Francis, who was with us up until the middle of the 2000s, and Governor Wendy Craig, who served in the role until the mid-teens. So, governors, it's a pleasure to have you all with us today. One of the things that I think comes out of this is by trying to affect the outcomes in the economy. So you look at the United States and you see the Federal Reserve, they increase interest rates, or you see the central banks get into the market and buying up lots of private debt to so-called provide more credit, or the quantitative easing, so to speak. And I know, Governor Craig, you did a lot of work when you looked at how the central bank could transition to be able to achieve some of its outcome through quote-unquote indirect channels, almost hinting at interest rate policies and the like. But in your view, how far can we go, or what sort of aspirations should we be having in terms of the channel that the central bank use to impact the outcomes of the economy? Is the indirect channel close or on the horizon anytime soon?
I would think so. I think that's the next horizon for the central bank. And I think you've already done a lot of work to start to prepare for that. One of the areas is certainly trying to deepen the domestic debt market, because that's the channel bank would operate in terms of buying and selling government paper. A lot of work has been done in that area in conjunction with the Ministry of Finance. And more recently, if I recall, the preparation of the repurchase arrangement, that will certainly help the central bank to be able to buy and sell, injecting liquidity into the system and removing liquidity from the system in a much more fine-tuning manner than you would do by imposing controls on the banks.
Very interesting. Now, you each mentioned some relationship between yourselves and the Ministry of Finance in terms of the work. I think the way you started out, Governor Smith, was quite interesting because the other very hot topic in central banking is quote-unquote central bank independence. Sometimes I say it should really be interdependence, because the policy on various sides should try to work closely together. But in your view, Governor Smith, what should that relationship look like between the central bank and the Ministry of Finance, or the central bank and the Minister of Finance?
Yeah, it has to be very close. There has to be a lot of communication. And sometimes the central bank has to take the lead when from their perch, they can see things that you don't see, within the Ministry of Finance. I'm reminded, actually, Governor Craig was relating something recently that reminded me of something where the central bank, when I was there, had to take a non-traditional, almost a non-central. There was a period of time when, as you know, the government puts out a bond issue to get in resources to carry out its capital program, in particular, build a school, build a hospital. For some other reason, and the bank started being a little political, in the sense that they agreed not to participate fully in the issue. Now, from central bank, we saw that they had the resources. So it must have been some other reason why. And it was around, almost approaching an election, right? So we realized then that, the central bank took up the issue because we had the passing abuse limit. And the criticism of the time was that we extend our authority, but they didn't read the act closely enough that the authority was restricted in one thing, in one form, but not in the other, right? And so we were able to do that. And I was thinking to myself, this is dangerous when you have an important sector like the banking sector being able to decide whether or not a hospital can be built. And shortly after that, Bank of Montreal was here and they were meeting. They came to see me and they said that, we're packing up on going back to Canada. And they said one or two of the other banks are interested. Mr. Singh was here. And you may recall that I told him, hold on that. And I went to see the Minister of Finance and I said, look, I explained what happened earlier. I said, I think you're going to need a bank that you have some say in. If not, we're going to be left hopeless. If we can't do school, we can't pay social services, etc. So you need some bank you can get behind in. At least you own a bank, and whenever the other guys try to pull something against you, you have a way of backstopping it. And it's a role again that non-traditional for a central bank in a small economy. You find yourselves doing it. I believe you were faced recently with the banks pulling out of the family islands and leaving them. I thought of that again. They said, wait a minute. They are licensees. So a condition of that sale in to provide services, then they say in this. They took fiber optic cables all the way down to an hour, even though you only had about a couple of families there. And also your aim is you need to access to modern technology. So they made B2C. You can't just concentrate on Abaco now. So, and I said, using the same thing, I still believe today that we should allow them to have mortar and bricks in those centers rather than mainland ATM. I would try to use the post office. Of course, we have one of those, or the government administrative office, in all of those buildings in Coward and Little Place. You see, your pensioners. And even, and I commend you on the digital currency, etc. But, if you were an old age pensioner in no sound or something like that, you can't even get transportation to the ATM. And then you're accustomed to the mortar and bricks. Right. So there's one counter in the post office, that'll become a branch or some bank or the other. I was hoping to see a bank like Bank of Bahamas. This is what I saw as the rule, to them to move in when the other banks move out. But, so my point is basically, in a small economy, one in which you have to be a little bit closer to the policy, and the, Ministry of Finance may want to do some things, but you're the licensee in this sort of thing, so having to tell the wider public, the wider good, by literally using, central banking as power. Remember the stock market that was sank here that they're building up because they will want to demutualize, remember? And spend a lot of money on the IT, the Irish guy who was doing it. And it never worked properly. And it was about to go under. And to this day, I believe, because I was here then, I think we bought 50% of the stock market, the BISX, to keep it afloat. I don't know if you still on the swing or something. They were settled in the treasury because we had the outcome down. Not only was selling the policy item up. Yeah. So around, it's where you really have to go in there to serve and to continue development of your economy. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to add that because you're talking about the relationship between the central bank and the ship finance, that it has to be effective coordination and cooperation, because even though the policies, monetary policy, fiscal policy, they're being executed by two different agencies, they're very interdependent.
Yeah.
If the government decides to run excessive fiscal deficits, then it leaves the central bank to have to deal with it. Okay, so but I believe that we have present in our relationship some arrangements that that make it lean towards. The first one is when you look at the institutional arrangement. The Central Bank Act has a limit on the amount that the government can borrow. And that is so important because without that, you could have issues when it comes to deficit financing.
Sure.
Okay, so that's very important, and we have that in place. Then we also have in place the good communication, I believe, because the governor, from a high level perspective, the governor meets with the minister, I think on a monthly basis.
Yes.
And that's something that I had instituted when I became governor, because I thought it was so important to have that dialogue with the minister, to exchange information about what's happening in the central bank, not to get approval, but so that there's an awareness, and then we can know too what is happening within the fiscal space. The other thing that we have in terms of communication and cooperation is on the technical level. There's a weekly meeting between the central bank, the Ministry of Finance, and the Treasury, just dealing with cash matters, cash planning, debt management matters, because the central bank has to be prepared to meet any requirements of the government in terms of payments. And so it needs to be able to plan ahead. So those matters are discussed on a weekly basis. What are the needs of the government, and how the central bank has to, prepare its balance sheet to respond to that. And then, of course, there's a lot of cooperation on the debt management side of it.
If I may, you're making a very important point, and beyond the technical part of it, once you begin meeting with Jeff from the parts over the Ministry of Finance, when I was with, you have to, you can communicate more, right? And what happens in the public service? There are a lot of items. People build their own kingdom. And if we're coming from on the outside, which central bank would be an outsider, unless you get a kind of a personal relationship with them, you can't persuade them to do anything. Because they become an intruder. I think once you start the dialogue, they forget, well, you're not a stressing me. You're not even a public servant, really. And then we can, get you pointed out that. And this was from personal experience until I got to the little bill. Anything you said, I figured, I can't be right. And then, yes, answering one to each other, into some down and have coffee or something like that and discuss around these things, right? So I'm thinking that I first met him at Ministry of Finance, and I come to Central Bank for a meeting. I said, you're sitting there and he's nice with me, often and probably like that, trying to tell me what to do.
That's cool.
Right, but may I just say, in response to Governor Rowe, I think that maybe one of the core questions here really is the need for independence on part of the central bank as the monetary authority. And I just would like to say that I believe that this is critical, that the Bahamas has been right to preserve this, to not infringe too heavily on that. As long as we have the Bahamian dollar, I believe it's critical that we have an agency like the central bank, which has the autonomy and the ability to protect the integrity of the dollar. And then there's one other point I'd just like to make quickly, and that is that and it goes back to maybe a comment at the very beginning, the role of the central bank of the Bahamas, and it's been said a few times, is really quite a broad one. If you look at many countries, central banks don't do all of the things that our central bank does. Most central banks are really just monetary authorities. They don't regulate the banking system. They don't become involved as heavily in the sort of broader economic policy issues as the Central Bank of the Bahamas does. The innovation of the financial or of the economy really generally often is not directly the responsibility of the central bank itself, as in our case. I think it's very important to understand that. I believe the Central Bank of the Bahamas goes back to my point about it being a resource, a sort of pool of talent which can tackle these different issues which are really quite critical to the evolution of the economy. And I think that's a very important theme, which explains, I would say, the real purpose of the central bank in our instance.
And good point. And to a close, I just want to have one short discussion on exchange control, because I know that very diverse views on this. So one of the dimensions to the exchange controls is just managing payments for trade and goods and services. And a lot gets caught up in that and how we can make that process easier for Bahamians. The other side, which I think is the more important side, is how Bahamians interface with exchange control to make investment transactions and those types of movements. And I just wanted from each of you, what are your views in terms of how far and how fast we should be moving in terms of loosening exchange controls in that space? I want to start with you, Governor Craig.
Well, looking back at what has happened with exchange control, it was always the perspective that we should move cautiously because we don't want to destabilize the one-to-one. And I believe that's still the case. We've gone very far in terms of removing all of the obstacles on the operational side, devolving a lot of the activity to the commercial banks, removing some of the restrictions and moving gradually with the liberalization on the capital side. I think it's very difficult it's a difficult sell to a lot of Bahamians in terms of why do I need to permission to buy, to invest overseas? It's a very difficult sell. But if the reason why we have the one-to-one is really it's two things to me. Well, it's the exchange controls that are preventing or are modulating the outflows, and then of course there's what I would call is a confidence factor. Because if that confidence disappears for any reason, then you really cannot control the outflows, right? And so that's really what's standing, I think, behind the one-to-one. It's not the amount of reserves that we have. It's really the confidence factor. It's the belief on behalf of Bahamians and foreign investors that the government has a solid economic policy. So I think we need to really be gradual in terms of how we liberalize on the capital account. And the steps that we've already taken in terms of allowing Bahamians to invest overseas through, I think there's a facility that we had put together years ago in terms of the broker dealers.
Yes, positive.
And increasing that, increasing those limits and monitoring that to see how it works and just tweaking that as we go along. The reduction in terms of the market, the foreign exchange market, in terms of the rates, the investment currency market, I think that's very important. Because if you can bring that down to almost nothing, right? I think Bahamians will see that as a avenue, and it's a good opportunity to make further investments. But still, complete liberalization, I don't think we're ready for that right now.
What are your views, Governor Francis?
I agree with what Governor Craig has said. As long as we are as linked to the United States as we are, and I think we all agree, that's not likely to change in the short term. We need to manage the one-to-one. We need to maintain the one-to-one. And, Wendy has referred to the various mechanisms we deployed in order to do that. I really believe it's as simple as that. I fully support the gradual. It's very important to understand that today, Bahamians are able to do things without any reference to the central bank, which would not have been imaginable, I would say, 20 years ago. They could go to their commercial bank, buy foreign currency for many purposes, etc. The only area which is really still under a fairly important level of control is investments. And there has been liberalization. I think that process needs to continue, but it needs to be done in such a way as to not create any very short-term, exposure on this question.
Well, I think there's another issue, because I think it's in your question, right? And it has to do with messaging and the narrative. This exchange control framework to maintain the relationship, etc. But it's also predictability. If, for instance, you're filling the exchange rate, it means, therefore, that a local business investor, say, right, he has to now think in terms of what will the dollar be worth by the time the stuff is shipped, right? And now he's got to get involved with exchange rates. The other thing, the investor coming in, or even the local guy, the build-out period, let's say maybe for 2 years for a resort. Right now, you have certainty, predictability that over the 2 years, I will be bringing in this material at this price. You're borrowing money to the materials, and you've got that predictability. Now this guy wants to invest locally or foreign, and he has to predict the exchange rate for the next 2 years. And you can lose on that. Just you go in about place and water.
Yeah.
And it's for X dollars. By the time you're about to trade, it's X minus something, so you got to borrow money to bring it in. And we take that for granted. And so even though the cost of living may be a little higher because we literally live in the U.S., that's a bit of a trade-off. And I think I treat we enter the market in a very selfish way. We think only of ourselves, right? It's very much like immigration. Maybe we got too many foreigners here, but the one who works in the UK, so we rather give a break. I mean, usually was all the money going to Miami shopping. Then the government got to pay the banks for the money they borrowed to build a skill with. It's not lit. We know that. But what he said is, I think everybody, just me. And that's, and we notice about ourselves. And so as a central bank and trying to manage this process, you take the next and you kind of absorb it because you know you're doing the right thing. You want to, over time, allow them the freedom to do things, but we can't be entirely free. A small economy like this that imports 80 to 90% of whatever it consumes, dependent on a hard currency to buy our supplies and do everything else. So now, foreign currency becomes a very, very important part of the life of the economy, quite frankly. I used to tell them when they come complaining to me, I said, look, I can give you $1,000 Bahamian money now, send you to Miami, and you can buy a stick of gum. And I can take your money. But I can give you $1 in US and you can get the gum. That's so important the foreign exchange is.
Yeah. I get, and I think what's important as well is liberalization and accommodation, that you're able to generalize the treatment. And part of the process is not being ad hoc in ways that you get tied up administratively and trying to decide on the merit of individual cases. And I think that's part of the constraint. But as we draw to a close, I just want to remark that, we had two other governors, Sir William Allen, and before him, T.B. Donaldson. So they were some early governors in the central bank. When you think back on those two governors, do you have any fond memories about them that you'd like to share? Wendy?
Very fond memories. I had the opportunity to work with both of them. And they were they had their personas were, they were highly regarded. They were looked at as the individuals who really established the culture of the central bank. And, they always reminded us of who we were back there in terms of the financial services sector, and that we had to govern ourselves accordingly. We are the pinnacle of the financial services sector. Mr. Donaldson was a very personable individual. If you hear many stories about him, you would hear that he knew people by name. The bank was very small then, compared to what it is today. But he knew everyone. He knew their families. He would walk the halls of the bank and greet people. Then you had Mr. Sir William, and he was really the one that shaped the research department that I was a part of, and he was the one who really developed the view that we had a keen responsibility to inform the public about what was happening in the economy. Many of the reports that you see today are the ones that he put in place, and he always encouraged us to be our best. In terms of policy making, Sir William was the one who started the Monetary Policy Committee, and that exists. We all were part of that, because he saw the need for putting together a forum that could be used to consider these policy issues. It wasn't just a single individual making the decision, but it was made based on the reports that would have been prepared by the research department and considered by this committee, this high-level committee, on the way forward. And Sir William, I remember him fondly too for his interest in scholarship. He was keenly interested in ensuring that all of the central bank staff were well trained and had opportunities to grow. So he started the scholarship program internally, the training programs he put in place. There are a lot of us who were recipients of that. And anyone can tell you, if you were a staff member of the central bank, you were exposed to so much training.
Yeah.
So much training. The central bank really focused on ensuring that its staff, were competent in central banking, and so that's a role that he played. And then he had a strong cultural bent, and so he started the art exhibition, and he wanted to ensure that the central bank was, similar to other central banks that he had seen overseas. They sponsored the arts, because they had the resources to do so, and he found this as an excellent way for the central bank to encourage the development and growth of
All right, well, hey, that is the conclusion of Harborside Chats with the Governor, and I want to thank Governor John Roll for that eye-opening interview, and James Smith and Julian Francis and Wendy Craig for being part of that, and hopefully there'll be more in the future. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back. When we come back, we're talking about the Build a Bridge Challenge with IBS. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
All those loans I had were so overwhelming. Fidelity's debt consolidation loan combined all my loan payments into one easy payment with a built-in savings plan that pays me unbeatable interest. It's time to make that move to Fidelity. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
The signs are clear. It's time to pay less for your current mortgage by switching to Scotiabank. Enjoy lower interest rates and no payments up to 2 months when you switch to Scotiabank today. Plus, we'll even pay your switch costs. It's that easy. Ready to switch to Scotiabank? Call us today at 242-356-1697 or visit bs.scotiabank.com to switch your mortgage to become mortgage-free faster.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Let me know, girl, I'm gonna show you how to do it, and we start real slow. You just put your lips together. Can you blow my whistle, baby? Whistle, baby. Here we go.
We're back here with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. And again, if you're just joining us, we're playing songs from 12 years ago because we're celebrating our 12th anniversary. So that's what the older music is all about. All right, so changing gears again, and hey, I think they were here almost every year while we were have been on the air. The Build a Bridge Challenge with IBS Integrated Building Solutions. We've got Nick Dean back with us. It's been a long time. Welcome back, sir.
Hey, Dwight. Good to be here, man. Morning.
And you've got a whole studio filled with people today. We've got Chris Wells, we've got DeLon Cooper, and Jared Nurse with us as well. Good morning, everybody. Great to have you with us.
Good morning.
All right, so remind folks what this is all about. This is a popsicle bridge competition, but tell us, how long has it been going on now?
We started the first challenge in 2008. Wow. And like you said, it is a popsicle stick bridge building competition where we invite high school students in groups of 5 to participate. And each year, each group is given about 100 popsicle sticks and a bottle of Elmer's glue. Bridge that weighs the least but carries the heaviest load, and there's a ratio that decides the winner. Mm-hmm. So we've been doing this from 2008.
Yeah.
The only time we've not done it is during COVID,
the
of
pandemic,
course.
and that took some momentum out of stuff. Or did you you've got it back since then? Or
We got it back.
Okay.
Stronger than ever.
Excellent. I never thought of this before. Never asked you this, but so has any school just copied the bridge that won the year before? Like, say, why don't I just do it like that?
You could try, but you have to have the exact amount of glue because there's a ratio, not just carrying the same load. Mm-hmm. So even if you use the same number of sticks, you have to have the exact same amount of glue to have the exact same weight to get the exact same ratio.
Right.
But we've been changing it up. So some years it's been 200 sticks, some years it's been 156, some years 125, and the bridges have carried a tremendous amount of load. So when you hear 100 wooden popsicle sticks and white Elmer's glue, you're not thinking some of these bridges are carrying 250 plus pounds. Mm-hmm. So these kids have gotten extremely expert at building these bridges.
Yeah, yeah. Why is this important? Everybody can jump in on this. Why is this important for engineers to know to work with something like this?
I'll speak for one of the things that we do. Prizes are fantastic. So each member of each team that comes first, second, or third gets a prize. And, the prizes have been tablets and laptops and cell phones, et cetera, et cetera. But the winning team gets to choose one of their team members to do an internship at IBS for the summer. And about 4 of those persons were hired by IBS as full-time staff. And Jared here is one of them. Jared's been here for about 4 years now. Jamal was there for about 10. And I think Corey's there for about 6. Wow. So it's been very rewarding for us because we wanted to try to groom the next generation of engineers and applied scientists. And obviously, the proof is in the pudding,
Yeah, yeah. All right. And so expanding on that, and Jared, I guess you can talk about it. Do you learn lessons that have helped you in what you do today now that you're at IBS from this competition? Pull that mic right to you there.
Yeah, I'd say I definitely learned lessons from the competition. It definitely taught me how to just necessarily think outside of the box in order to come up with an appropriate design that would, like Nick said, help us to just get the most efficiency out of our popsicle sticks, and that has translated to for IBS.
Yeah, when were you in the competition?
So, funny story. I actually snuck into the competition my first year.
Is that possible?
He did it. Yeah.
But yeah, I've been a part of the competition for about 4 years.
Wow.
4 years.
What school were you with?
I was with St. Augustine's College.
Okay. Did you all win?
We won 2 of those years.
Okay, that's pretty good. So, tell us about what it was like to be in this competition.
I mean, it was just a really fun experience. It definitely got me a lot more interested in the STEM side of things. I always knew that I wanted to be an engineer, just not necessarily which discipline. That Build a Bridge competition, it just helped me to kind of finalize that, hey, I want to pursue structural engineering.
Yeah. Yeah. Chris Delon, tell us about what you all will be doing and how the competition works.
Yeah, so I'm one of the newer guys to IBS, I guess. I've not been there as long. But my background, I'm a structural engineer, right? So to see what these kids, come up with, there are certain designs that work most efficiently. But the kids do experiment a lot and come up with designs that tend to surprise you sometime,
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm also a newer employee. I'm an engineer technician, and I've been here for about going on 2 years now. And last year, when we had the competition, it was just kind of nice to see the kids put together some designs. And like Chris said, some of them really surprised you. We always just load them up, and it's always shocking to see like when somebody gets past a certain threshold and it's like, oh, nobody's going to beat that. And then it's like somebody beats it by like 50 pounds.
Right.
So that's always really cool to see.
And sometimes not always the best looking bridge wins, right?
Right.
Definitely.
Actually, there's 2 streams in the competition. We do have an aesthetics judging, and then there's actually the load judging. Mm-hmm. With the aesthetics one, you do get to build a pretty bridge if you want to. So we do give style points.
Okay.
But the meat of it is in the load carrying, obviously, because we are engineers. Mm-hmm. And it's a fierce competition, Dwight. These kids are very dedicated. The teachers are dedicated, and so it's a mentor teacher who guides a group of 5 students for each team. Right. Now, so far, we've been doing this since 2008. Only 3 teams have won the competition.
Yeah. Right. There's a bit of a rivalry out there between 2 schools.
Right.
It's 3. It's St. John's,
mm-hmm.
St. Augustine's, and Anatole Rogers.
Right.
And I think Anatole Rogers has the edge, actually.
They have 6 now to
6.
St. John's 5, yeah.
Wow. And they've actually won 3 straight.
Wow.
Anatole still is the...
They're the defending champions.
Right.
Wow, that's
As a matter
amazing.
of fact, Corey, who's there now, 2 of our students were from Anatole.
Mm-hmm.
And Corey was actually a member of an all-girls team one year that won. So in favor of encouraging females to join STEM programs as well, because we do not have enough female engineers.
And we have another all-girls team participating this year as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, from a school called TAPS. I'm not sure if you heard of it. It's a smaller school, but yeah, should be good.
Excellent. So, hey.
I have a question.
Laverne,
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning.
I know you said that there are teams of 5, and then I'm assuming the winning team, they determine within themselves one person. Is it just one individual that will have a summer internship with IBS?
That's correct. The winning team votes one of their team members to have the internship.
Do you provide them with a guideline? I mean, and because, I'm thinking everybody probably on that winning team would want that opportunity. So you kind of, maybe give pointers. Okay, these are the things that maybe you should be looking at for them to have to decide that one person.
No, we 100% leave that up to them. I mean, because
leave that entirely up to them.
Within the team itself, they understand the team dynamics, and the team is made up of 10th, 11th, and 12th grade students. So more than likely, they're probably going to pick a 12th grade student. They're probably going to pick the student who's most enthusiastic and most
or race for it,
or
I don't know,
or draw straws, whatever.
Popsicles. All right, so I have to ask you this. We saw what happened in Maryland a few weeks ago with the bridge collapse there. As engineers, what were you thinking when you saw that? And could you think of ways to avoid something like that?
Well,
is there any bridge that could have withstood getting hit by such a huge tanker?
Yeah, there's no bridge that can withstand that kind of direct impact. So what you do is you try to minimize impact. So you design a structure around the base of the bridge to stop the impact to the actual bridge. I mean, most bridges are designed for like a 500,000 pound impact, and that vessel is upward of 250,000 tons. So wow. I mean, to design a bridge for that, it would be not economically feasible at all.
You can't design for every single scenario.
Yeah.
This is the most likely scenarios, and it's all probabilistic based. And we do learn a lot from failures because that's how we build our knowledge base, and that's how the profession grows. And unfortunately, failures do allow the profession to design for future events.
Right. Yeah. Wow. All right. So give us details about the competition this year. Will you at your school in on this? I guess it's
It
too late
is.
for that.
It's probably too late now. It's going to be at the Trinity Activity Center. It's going to be this Friday, and competition starts, I think, at about 8 when we start entering bridges. So the bridges arrive with the students. We weigh them, we measure them to make sure they've met the criteria. We judge them for aesthetics, and then we start loading them up to see which school is going to win. And, you know, kids get lunch, and it's a day away from school, and, you know, it's a good time for
It's
everybody.
always fun.
Yeah,
And the public can come down and see this as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can
and I
come
think-
cheer on your school.
I think we have 17 schools participating this year, and it's a good mix of government school and private schools, which is good to see.
You have the whole list there?
Yeah, I have
Yeah,
the
you
whole
could-
list,
you can read the list. Yeah, let's do it.
So we have TAPS, which is Transitional Alternative Program for Students. That would be the all-girls team. And then C.O. Walker Senior High, Queens College, Doris Johnson, St. Anne's, Central Andrews High, St. Andrews School, St. Augustine School, International School of Business, Mary Star of the Sea out of Freeport.
Hey, Laverne.
C.C. Sweeting Cobras, Life for Key International, the Heuristic Academy, R.M. Bailey, Bahamas Academy, C.V. Bethel, and Acaparin International School.
Okay, this sounds like it's one of the largest groups you've had, or it's just
No, actually,
you've had
we've
bigger.
we've had bigger groups.
Wow,
We had up to 23, 24
Last year
schools.
we had 23 entered. Yeah.
Oh man,
So-
this is impressive. Yeah, and then again, you say 8:00 they'll start bringing in the bridges. What time will you be destroying the bridges?
Well, as soon as we get them through the process, we're going to start breaking
yeah,
bridges.
testing typically starts around like 9:30, most likely. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
And usually we save the best for like last, right? So the
The-
winners from
the
the year
winners from-
before
yeah.
usually go at the end.
Okay.
And those are the guys that are competing for the championship typically.
Right. And is somebody counting all the popsicles to make sure they didn't go over 100 or 200 or whatever?
Well, we weigh them, and then the winning schools, of course, we keep all their sticks in the bag. So if there's any questions,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. This is, this is a lot. How many people are out there judging, and how does that work exactly?
Well, we have 3 judges for the statics competition, and of course, the weight is the judge for the load carrying competition.
yeah.
Right.
The ratio. So we weigh the bridges, we record the weight, and then we test the bridges we load them up. We add, it's actually just iron weights until the bridge fails.
Yeah.
And then that ratio, that efficiency is a winner.
Wow.
So it's not necessarily just the bridge that carries the most load. It's also the bridge that's carrying the most load but is lightest.
So, any tips you give to any of these students now working on their bridges? Anything you can say that won't constitute giving them a unfair advantage? What would you say to them?
It might be a bit late now, but what we do is we distribute the sticks and the glue pretty much the end of the previous year, so they have several months to prepare. We also give them tip sheets, websites where they can learn about the physics and the mathematics and some bridge building techniques. And we do encourage them they could build test bridges and fail them.
Right.
Yeah.
See what works, see what doesn't. That encourages them to be creative and do some forensic engineering, So, like I said, you learn from failures. You can see where the bridge broke, what caused it to break, adjust in that area, and then build the next bridge. And hopefully by the time you come to the competition, you got a winning bridge on your hands.
Yeah, wow. Well, we used to have them on every year, the winners, and we hope to do it again this year. I'm looking forward to it. So good luck to all those schools and all the students. This is a great competition. I'm glad you're keeping it going. Thank you very much, IBS, for being here this morning. Nick Dean, Chris Wells, Delon Cooper, and Jared Nurse. Thank you. Looking
Thanks for
forward
having
to
us,
what comes
Dwight.
out of it on
Thanks for
Friday.
having us.
Appreciate it.
We're going to take a break and be back to wrap things up. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Stroke your little ego. I bet you I'm guilty, your honor. That's just how we live in my genre. Who are next? I'm paid the road wider. There's only one blow and one rider. I'm a damn shame.
Decide your current mortgage by switching to Scotiabank. Enjoy lower interest rates and no payments up to 2 months when you switch to Scotiabank today. Plus, we'll even pay your switch costs. It's that easy. Ready to switch to Scotiabank? Call us today at 242-356-1697 or visit bs.scotiabank.com to switch your mortgage to become mortgage-free faster.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Valpo Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
It is time for your morning business report brought to you by CFAL. Royal Caribbean International saying that a competing project near its Royal Caribbean Beach Club has nothing to do with the cruise line as the company forges ahead with site clearing with hopes to begin construction soon. Royal Caribbean Royal Beach Club President and General Manager Philip Simon telling Guardian Business that RCI has brought in heavy equipment to begin clearing its Paradise Island Beach Club site over the weekend and will begin clearing work next week. Site Operations Manager for Arawak Key, Levin Miller, in a written statement to Guardian Business, says that he takes full responsibility for the water pressure at Arawak Key being low on Sunday and the restrooms being out of service. He added that it's not his burden alone to carry, but he agrees that he must share fault in Sunday's water pressure being low. President of the Arawak Key Conch Fish, Vegetables and Food Vendors Association, Rodney Russell, said he was unaware what Miller was admitting to, but that the restroom being out of service is something that has plagued the fish fry for years prior to Miller taking up his position at Arawak Key. The Bahamas Out Island Promotion Board's president is trying to think outside the box on the rising cost of boat insurance, advocating for a sinking fund where the public and private sectors can buy into shared insurance to spread risk for boaters. Alexio telling Guardian Business that the rising cost of U.S.-based insurance for boat owners looking to park their boats during the summer in the Bahamas is becoming prohibitive. You can read more about that in today's Guardian Business section. NBAF Financial and Insurance Limited announcing its largest $1 million roundtable cohort to date, with 25 of its employees qualified to enter the exclusive club for 2023. The website for the MDRT describes it as the top association for financial professionals and adds that the global independent group represents the leading life insurance and financial services professionals from more than 700 companies across 80 countries and territories. And Sandals Royal Bahamian Resort recently completing the refurbishment of the rooms in its East Bay Tower, and it's eyeing now the refurbishment of the West Bay Tower. The resort is preparing for an uptick in bookings for the coming months after a 5% booking drop following the U.S. State Department's travel advisory. The hotel's general manager, Kevin Clark, telling Guardian Business that Sandals reopened the East Tower on April 1st after the months-long renovations. In your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Monday, your market movers: Bank of the Bahamas moving 5,000 shares. Cable Bahamas moving 200, unchanged at 421. Commonwealth Bank moving 15,500, up 2 cents to 532. Focall moving 1,000, down 24 cents to 456. Consolidated Water down 7 cents to 486. Emira Incorporated down 8 cents to 826. The BISX All Share Index closing at 2,900.13, down 0.36. That's your Market Watch, and that is your Morning Business Report, brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. Laverne Gardner, thank you so much for being here on a Tuesday. We'll miss you on Thursday, but we appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity, Dwight.
So I'll see you next week. Have a great one.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
And I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, have a great day, everybody. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.